All right, everyone. Welcome back to MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast. I'm Ben Raven. He is Kory Woods. No, he's got nothing for us. Detroit Lions lose 29-24 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, we're going to talk about the final 25 seconds. Obviously, we're going to talk about the most turdiest of turd quarters of all time. We're going to talk about it all, but here's where things lie. They're 8-7. They have using the New York Times / Athletics playoff simulator, they have a 6% chance to make the playoffs after losing to the Steelers. Even if they win out, 24% chance to make the playoffs. They need the Green Bay Packers to lose to the Baltimore Ravens and the Minnesota Vikings. And for those of you hoping the Packers were going to lose to the Ravens, looks like Lamar Jackson just got banged up and might not finish that game that's going on right now. It is 10:50 p.m. Sunday night. Kory, first thoughts. What do you got?
When we were doing our season predictions, mapping out how this year was going to go, we went back and forth on, what the record was going to look like, how things were going to transpire. But one thing that I did not fathom would be Week 16 against the Pittsburgh Steelers would be the final time I would be in Ford Field this season.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. And it's like hitting me that, like, holy crap. Like, I'm going to be honest. I've kind of expected the Lions to make the playoffs coming in today. I don't feel that way right now because the one thing I just keep thinking about is how they keep telling us they know who they are. They know who they are. They know what this team is. Yeah, we know who they are supposed to be. We know who they think they are, but it's disconnected from reality right now because that is 2 straight games that they absolutely needed to have to improve their chances of making the playoffs. They got bullied off the ball in Los Angeles. If you listen to Kelvin Shepard, it wasn't that bad. Take away a couple big plays, not that bad. You can't take away Jack you-know-what today to make that thing look good. Worst rushing performance of the season on defense. Worst rushing performance on offense since 1970, Kory.
There was a point at halftime, and forgive me if I'm wrong on how the fourth quarter turned out, but I'm going to the point that I clocked it.
Yep.
At halftime, the Steelers had...
I just clocked it.
Yeah. At halftime, the Steelers had 32 rushing yards.
Wait, really? That's what it was?
At halftime.
Oh, wow.
At the last time that I checked it, they had 125 in the fourth alone.
The Steelers finished with 230 rushing yards, 2 Jalen Warren 45-yard touchdown runs. The Lions finished with 15 rushing yards. They had 12 carries. They averaged 1.3 yards per carry. As I said, shout out John Neo for finding that stat. It's the worst rushing performance since 1970. The interior offensive line was bad. Gibbs was not able to break free. Monty had a couple nice runs, but, the way this game went, the Lions threw the ball at one point. I believe it was 22 or 23 straight times in the second half. And apologies for the swift kick to the groin this is going to be, but Aaron Rodgers had more rushing yards than Jahmyr Gibbs today. Gibbs ran 7 times. Just checking myself for 2 yards.
When Jared Goff, first off, I want to be clear on this.
Yeah.
I don't think this is anything to do on Jared Goff. This is not a knock on him, but when Jared Goff has to drop back more than 35 times, you're probably not winning that game. I don't know the exact metrics on it, but I do know that when he has to drop back in that 35 to 40 range, that means that you're trying to really come from behind. You're trying to overcompensate for an area that you're lacking in, which was clearly the rushing attack today.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be an apologist, but the way that interior offensive line collapsed time after time on him today, it was inexcusable. And we can't have we got to clean things up. Yeah,
we know who we are.
It's the coach speak right now is just it's dead.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of fans out there. I've interacted with a lot of them today, because I'm going to be working on it. But there are a lot of fans out there that have their emotions running high, and rightfully so. Yeah. You want to be sad. You want to be disappointed. Yeah. You want to be angry. Yeah. You have every right to be, because this team has not performed up to expectations. Brad Holmes did not do the job that he should have done to provide the quality depth for when players go down. And this is a result of that. Now, I'm not going off the deep end like some of you guys talking about the hot seat and all of that jazz. We're not going to play that game. But the game that we do have to play is the accountability one.
Yeah.
And the play just wasn't good enough. And you need way too much help to get this thing done. And one thing that they didn't, and I'm not trying to reach too much on this, but one thing that really showed me that there's a real kink in the armor is that Hutch and St. Brown did not speak with the same bravado that I normally hear from them. It was not we're gonna go handle business, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. Yeah. Now it's if we don't make the playoffs, let's finish strong playing Lions football and getting back to who we are.
Yeah.
And when you have those kind of talks, you don't need to make sweeping changes this offseason, but there's going to have to be something done to address how this ended, because this was a team that was pegged as a Super Bowl contender at the start of the season. Now you're over here in a position hoping that your division rivals fall off a cliff so you can have a shot to sneak in.
Yeah. Campbell, it was pretty much kind of that too, just talking, this is how I want to see us finish the season, because it's so far out of their hands now. We haven't done this in a while. Let's play a clip from Dan Campbell's post-game press conference, and then we'll talk about what we need to talk about, the crazy final 25 seconds, and do a little more. But here's Dan Campbell after the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's frustrating. We just lost 2 in a row, so that's the word. I don't know. I don't know what all this is or isn't. I mean, I know we got 2 left, and I just want to see us finish, man. I just want to finish our style of football with 2 to go, man. And try to play 4 straight quarters of good football, clean football, efficient football. That's what I want to do. And we're on a short week now. We got Minnesota. We're back in tomorrow, and got to have a game plan ready for these guys, and we got to be ready to go out to Minneapolis and put it all together and execute.
And your playoff hopes obviously diminish. I assume you know that, your team knows that. How does that affect? It's very slim odds right now. Do you address that? How do you deal with it?
No, I mean, kind of what I just said is what I told them. We got 2 to go, man. I want to see us play with our identity, with what we are and what we're about. And, look, we're big boys in this league, man. You pull your pants up and you go to work. And, you can't feel sorry for yourself. It doesn't mean it doesn't sting. It doesn't feel bad. But we have nobody to blame but ourselves. I mean, it's on us, and it's also on us to finish. We got 2 to go.
As you can see, kind of same tune. Kind of like, all right, not dead yet, but holy crap, let's just finish the season strong and be who we are and be who we think we are and be who know. But yeah, man, it's kind of what I wrote about in last week's column was like, winning 3 in a row sounds great on paper. Nothing about the current version of this team and where their depth is makes me feel like it's truly possible in the realistic real world that we live in. I mean, it's week 16. You're a touchdown point favorite. It's your home finale. You're going against one of the least explosive offenses in the NFL. But here you are. You're without Brian Branch. You're without Kirby Joseph. You're starting Kingsley at center. You're starting Christian Mahogany in his first game back from a fibula injury, cracked a bone in his leg a little more than a month ago. Kingsley goes out for his series for Michael Neese. Neese hits a low snap. Mahogany gets beat for a safety sack. Mahogany goes out for a series with Miles Frazier coming in. Doesn't look much better there. And just before we get to the final 25-second stuff, through the through the team's first drive in the fourth quarter, they had the ball in the second half. They had the ball for 1 minute and 21 seconds. They lost 2 points and lost 8 net yards of offense without getting a single first down. The fact that we're about to talk about a crazy 25 seconds with a chance to win the game was some serious picking up your pants and getting to work stuff. But it was like everything with the season, too late. Where was this? What's going on?
That's what I'm trying to figure out is like, what changed? The players didn't change.
Nope.
Did the message change on the sidelines? Because those final drives when they had to score, the pace, the tempo, the sense of urgency, getting to the line, the play calling, that resembled, if they played like that all game, we're having a much different conversation.
Yeah. The thing that really kills me about that is it was pretty evident the running game wasn't going to be able to do a thing. Like about 20 minutes into this game, like, oh, they can't run the ball. And then they just started passing and passing. I mean, Goff finishes 34 of 54, 364, 3 touchdowns. I think that's his third straight 300 game. They're 2-1 in that span, or 1-2 in that span. And the main difference for me on those final drives, tempo. Goff is the team's best chance right now. Put it in his hands. Don't even think about it, because this is crazy. This is how the Lions' possessions went today. 3-and-out punt, 13-play turnover on downs at the 3-yard line, 8-play field goal, 3-play 0-yard punt, 6-play 62-yard touchdown, kneel it out to end the half, safety, 3-and-out punt, and then 10-play touchdown drive, 10-play touchdown drive, 10-play drive that ends with 2 touchdowns wiped off the board due to 2 pass interference penalties, which segues us into the final 25 seconds. What do we even say here? What do we say here? My head is spinning like it's never spun before after a game.
I'm not going to go down the whole the referees invent the rule book on the Lions type thing. But you know what? If there are fans that feel like that, I'm not going to argue with you, because it's like, I'm going to steal a bar and paraphrase what Aiden Hutchinson said. I have never seen 2 OPIs on the final drive cost the team a game. Now, you can say what you want about the second one. After going back, okay.
Easy call on the second one.
But the Tesla one.
Nah, I know. And even Goff was a PR masterclass after the game. Like, hey, those officials have a hard job. If I was on the other sideline, I'd be saying, good job, good job. He didn't really comment on the second one. With the first one, he was like, I thought that was a bad call. That one was more open to interpretation. And it was. The Tesla one, I keep watching it back, and it's like, man, I don't think that's enough. St. Brown scored on the 1-yard line, put the Lions up. It was the potential game-winning touchdown. I think there were 25 seconds left. Then they went back to the 11-yard line. Then they jumped off sides. Then they threw it over the middle and had to burn their final timeout. And then St. Brown catches it, gets stopped at the 1-yard line, heads up play, throwing that ball backwards. Goff picks it up, dives into the end zone. You see the replay. We got to see the replay before the final whistle blew, and it was kind of like, he pushed off. Like, he pushed off. And then there was just the way the official announced that was like the worst way to announce it of all time.
If you could have just said, hey, I don't know. I don't know what way you could have announced it. Just the way you took the fans on a high, and then you gave them a swift kick in the boys.
Yeah.
He
started by confirming the touchdown. Crowd goes flipping nuts. And then, but offensive pass interference means that it was not a touchdown, and due to the NFL rulebook, an offensive penalty in the final play of the game, there will not be another snap. Just like that. I mean, literally he could have handled that a lot better. But yeah, man, the first one is the one I raised my eyebrow at. The second one, he pushed off. St. Brown pushed off on the second one. He did. The first one, and the other part about that first one that really stinks is St. Brown got himself open. Tesla's OPI didn't do nothing to get him open. Tesla could have stepped on a shoelace and fell down at the line of scrimmage, and nothing would have changed about that play. And then you throw in the fact that you're like, man, That's what you called with 25 seconds left? That's the one. That's the one you should be pissed off about, guys. Full approval from me to go nuts about that first one.
Yeah, you can't call that one with the game on the line. That was just wild. But St. Brown, being the PR guy, just like golf, just like hey, there was a PI called on them with Jameson Williams, and we could probably say the same thing there, even though it did look like he just straight up turned JMO on that.
He did. That was an easy call there.
And so, but it's again, while those were bad calls, while the one was a bad call, the one on Tesla.
Yeah.
If you played with that tempo that they had in those last couple of drives all game, we're not talking. We're not here right now. And I'm trying to figure out what is the disconnect.
I didn't know who that was.
Yeah. what I'm trying to figure out what's the disconnect where they play with this tempo when they need to desperately get back in the game as opposed to just playing with that tempo in general.
Yeah, there's just something. Dan Campbell always wants to try and run the ball. Even that 2-minute drive where they ended up with 2 touchdowns getting wiped off the board, first play of that drive, I believe, was a 3-yard loss by Gibbs to go into the 2-minute warning that drew boo birds like crazy from that crowd. I'm looking at this. David Montgomery had a 17-yard run, and the Lions finished with 15 rushing yards. That is hard to do. And it just takes me back to the problems we've been talking about all year. That interior offensive line is not good right now. It's just not good right now. It's great to have Mahogany back, but he was struggling in pass protection before his injury. He struggled in pass protection today. Kingsley struggled in his first start at center. Neese had the low snap. Mahogany got beat on that one too. We talk about not needing to overhaul things, but they really need to pour some resources into the offensive line somehow in free agency. I don't know how they're going to have any money to spend, but the draft, man, I mean, they need in-house competitions for next season. I just can't believe we're talking about next season stuff right now, but the offensive line is just really concerning. And the other side of Hutchinson on the pass rush is really concerning. And you see what this defense is without Brian Branch. We don't know when he's going to get back. You don't have the ball hawking stuff of Kirby Joseph. He's a huge loss, all pro for a reason, but with Branch being out, you've seen what happens to this run defense. You just see it. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I don't care how many freaking plays you want to take out to try and look at it through rose-colored glasses. It's not good. It's not good.
And then on the other side of it, well, not on the other side, another factor of this is the cornerback play. You're really missing Terrion Arnold and how he started to grow this season. But I'm gonna say it again. DJ Reed does not look right. He looks a step slow. That hamstring does not look good. I'm not calling myself a doctor, but I do have eyes, and you see this man getting continuously beat play after play, and I just don't know what they're going to do, because now that's also something else you have to consider in the offseason. The cornerback play. Where do you go?
I know.
Yeah, I don't think you will go. I don't think you go draft for cornerbacks, because, I mean, hopefully you can maybe to find some veterans out there in free agency, because, like you said, they need to invest in the trenches and groom that talent for years to come. But the secondary play, that's going to be they need a lot of help.
I mean, I think where they need to focus in the draft, you got to find a young pass rusher that can make plays, but they also need to ditch their stuck in their ways of just drafting a certain style of bull rusher on the other side of Hutchinson. Like, don't be afraid to get an all-around player if he's there. Like, have a little trust in your coaching staff to make them fit the scheme. It's just, for the secondary, your long-term thoughts there, I do agree, but I just am like, with all the extensions they're going to have to take care of, the ones they've already done, like, what the hell are they going to be able to spend on? I think the best case for this team is to hope that Terrion Arnold is ready for training camp, the offseason program, and to hope that Ennis Rakestraw can stay healthy so we can actually see what he is. I still have a lot of faith in DJ Reed. He was so good to start the season. We talked about it last week. We talked about it in the mailbag. he don't look like DJ Reed right now.
Yeah, and I'm not out.
No, I know you're not, but he just don't look like him.
Yeah,
That's a good corner.
Yeah, I'm out on him this season.
It's because it's not right, and I'm sure taking a 1975 style NBA screen in the end zone from the human freight train that is Darnell Washington didn't help today. Holy jeez!
As soon as they laid him on, I'm like, yep, he's going into the locker room.
He ran into a brick wall. Washington crashed into Campbell at the end of the game too, and Dan held his ground, man. That's a strong man. Oh man,
me and Jacob had a quick laugh when they said tackle by Campbell. I said, which one?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Lions, they got a short week now, and I know it feels doom and gloom, and it's hard to keep talking about the path forward. But if they lose that game to the Vikings on Christmas,
that's officially it.
Yeah,
right?
It looks like, if they lose this game to the Vikings on Christmas, NYT has them with less than 1% chance to make the playoffs, which I take as being eliminated because the Packers can't lose 3 games. They only got 2 left to go. So, and I know JJ got hurt today, but as I said a couple times too, it wasn't that Vikings offense that beat these Lions here at Ford Field whenever the hell that was. I think it was the first game after the bye week. It was that defense, and it was that Brian Flores defense that targeted the interior offensive line and that targeted Jahmyr Gibbs as a pass protector, and they ate them freaking alive. And now things on the interior offensive line are somehow worse. They can't lose again. They've just lost back-to-back games for the first time in more than 3 years, and we can the record. They end the 15-game streak tied for the record. They don't own it. And lost back-to-back games since October 2022, and just it comes at the absolute worst time because that's what kills me. I'm pretty sure I already said it. The Steelers. Touchdown favorites at home. 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming to play boogeyman one last time, and something crazy happens in the final 25 seconds. Like, what is it about freaking Aaron Rodgers when he comes to Ford Field that just madness is?
And you know what's crazy? Even though I did pick the Lions to win.
Me too. By 11.
I picked the Lions to win. If you go back to my predictions, I said every time he's in this building, something weird happens.
Seems like it. This was weird. I mean, Adam Thielen said it was possibly the craziest game, right up there with the Minneapolis Miracle that he's ever been part of. I mean, 2 OPI calls erased 2 potential game-winning touchdowns. We don't need to go down that hole. We already did it. But it is – let's just talk about it from our point of view. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
I didn't because it was so much confusion. You see the referees huddled up for as long as they were
forever,
and then when they were pushing away the Steelers players, I'm like, something's about to happen where they might be probably about to tick off the Steelers because they were intentionally pushing the Steelers players back.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, something's about to happen. Took the entire Ford Field, 60-something plus thousand people on that high of announcing it was a touchdown just to bring them right back down with the OPI call. And
Aaron Rodgers after the game was asked, what did it feel like watching the crowd go from cheering to booing like that? I hate to see it. He's still the troll that he's always been. Both teams were literally waiting for permission to run on the field and celebrate. Like both teams were literally waiting for it. Lions were just hoping it was a defensive penalty, Goff said. I mean, I get that too, but like the second we saw the replay, it was like, oh, that's not going to stand. And then it was like, do they at least get a play? No. The NFL rulebook clearly states that the right call was made on that decision, an offensive penalty as the time expires, as it did when Goff is doing his Elwaying John Elway-esque dive into the end zone.
I was going to say this.
What a weird
It was the right call, but holy crap, what a heads up play by Goff.
I mean, for St. Brown to know I should flip this. I'm going down. Don't have any timeouts left. There's like 2 seconds on the clock. He flips it. Goff picks it up and jumps into the end zone.
I've never seen Goff move that quick in my life.
I was going to say, and he leapt, and he was prepared to take a helicopter hit. So, I mean, you love to see that fight from your 2-star players, but my goodness, I know you guys probably want to hear us go in on the Tesla penalty more than we have. I thought it was a bad call. What more do you want from me? The Lions did this to themselves, though.
Yeah, it's you do not put yourself in a position where the referees can make that type of call on you. That's what it's going to boil down to. Any way you look at it, if you play with that tempo, if you play with that sense of urgency throughout the entire game, you walk out of here with a W, and you don't necessarily, you're still not in control of you weren't going to be in control of your destiny, but you give yourself a better shot of not only getting to the postseason, but still a better shot at winning the division.
Yeah.
Now you're hoping and praying for other teams to fall off a cliff so that you can sneak in. And to me, it goes against everything that this organization is standing for, trying to build themselves to be under Dan Campbell.
This is where things stand. The Seahawks are clinched. The Bears are clinched. The Eagles are clinched. The Rams are clinched. The 49ers are clinched. The NFC South outcome is going to have no bearing on what happens with the Lions. The Packers are the only team that the Lions can catch. And it's straight up like this. The Lions have to win their final 2 games, and the Packers have to lose not 1, but 2 back-to-back games. They play the Ravens next week. We'll see what Lamar's injury status is, but then they play the Vikings to end the season 2, and we'll see what J.J. McCarthy's injury status is. But, like, I even with how this season has gone, this is shocking. This is truly shocking. This is a new low for this winning era of Lions football right now. It should have never gotten to this point, but it is. It's reality. And I can't sit here and talk about who I think they are or what they should be, because it doesn't freaking matter, because they're not that right now.
But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, and I'm not trying to be Mr. overly optimistic guy, but long term, this could be a blessing in disguise, because the way that they were going about things, they were stuck in their ways and refused to adapt. And that is what allowed them to not have the depth that they needed down the stretch to be able to get through this. Another season when you're having to go get guys off the street, get guys off other teams' practice squad to come in and fill roles. So maybe this will be one of those, maybe this is what they needed for the long term of this team. Like you said, I don't know what they're going to do with free agency, with the money. Maybe they might have to make some tough decisions.
Oh, there's some tough decisions to be made.
Who knows what's going to happen? But in my opinion, long term, this could end up being a blessing in disguise.
And I know that's hard for people to hear, but it's hard to have confidence in what we've seen and where this depth is without Sam Laporta, without Kirby, without Branch, without Terrion, with the interior offensive line where it is, with Graham's knee, with just the inexperience trying to hold things down there. It just didn't feel like this team was going to make noise in the playoffs. And even as I say that, I kind of paused before saying it, because I know who these guys can be. And I know I've just been taking them to task for saying we know who we are, but like, this team is and should be so much better than this. But this loss to the Steelers, that home loss to the Vikings, that can't happen. They did happen, though. That's life in the NFL, man. It comes at you fast. And for the fans that stuck around after the Lions fell down there by 2 scores again in the fourth quarter, they got treated to one of the weirdest things that they've ever seen in their lives. Because
they'll remember that one for a long time.
The final 25 seconds, like when I said it, I mean it. My head ain't been spinning like this after a game. The only other comparable one, and I think this one takes the cake, is the 5-interception win in Houston last year, which was my first freaking solo trip in this position. But this one, I mean, we've talked about the process before. I mean, I had like 4 different game stories ready to go. For a while, I was polishing up the lost one. Then once they scored, and before the Steelers even missed that short field goal, I was polishing up the win story, because it was like the confidence was still there that they could do it.
That's also the crazy part. They missed the field goal.
If they make that 36 or 37-yard field goal just before the 2-minute warning hit, I mean, the Lions would have been in an 8-point hole. So not only would they have had to go down the field and score in dramatic fashion the way that they did twice but lost it, they would have had the 2-point conversion. So even when they get a window, a gift from above, when they don't deserve it, they don't strike. That is kind of just how this season has gone. I mean, they have literally played, 500 football over the last 12 games?
Yeah.
6-6? Is that what it is? Yeah. Since beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before the bye week to get to 5-2, they lost, they won, they lost, they won, they lost, they won, they lost, they lost. That's just, it's inexcusable. As you were kind of doing with your optimism leaning thing, like the long-term viability of this franchise is like, they're still going to be viewed as a contender next season. There's going to be a lot more questions on how they clean things up, what they do at offensive coordinator, what they do for the offensive line, and where they add in the offseason. But the long-term cornerstones of this team are mostly still in place. You know, I know Laporta's just had back surgery. We have not found out anything regarding specifics on that.
Yeah.
Achilles injuries don't heal overnight, and Joseph was finally put on IR with his knee injury, and we don't know how long that's going to take to recover for him because that's been such a weird back and forth. He's going to play, he's not going to play, he's not going to play, setback, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, putting him on IR at this juncture was just like,
where was this?
Why?
Yeah, exactly. So the Lions play on Thursday, Christmas this week. So we will not have a mailbag podcast this week. We'll just be back with the postgame podcast since we usually record on Thursdays. After that, it'll be a little long weekend before the finale in Chicago. We will have a mailbag before the Chicago game. You guys can always send questions. Like if I see we have a couple questions in the inbox, even if we're not doing a mailbag, we'll answer them. Send those to Dungeon of Doom at MLive.com. For those of you who made it to the end, freaking appreciate you. Appreciate the readership, listening to us. I know this season has sucked. And I know it's on the absolute brink, but they're not dead yet. That is the one thing to hang on to. There is still a meaningful football game to be played on Christmas. And then, unfortunately, it's a lot more scoreboard watching and outside help needed. But they're at a point now where the only team they can catch is the Packers.
Whew.
Yeah.
Just never imagined they would be here when this season started.
No,
but
worst case scenario, no way. No.
They're not even, I mean, my basement was 11-6, and now that's out the window.
Yeah. And I knew it was a tough schedule, but Dan Campbell instills belief. This roster, when you look at it on paper, instills belief. There was still belief today in that fourth quarter, even after the 1 minute, 21 seconds, minus 2 points, minus 8 net yards of offense. Answer in the second half after giving up another back-breaking end-of-half touchdown to blow a chance to have a lead going into the second half for the second week in a row. But, yeah, just the defense feels like it doesn't have the firepower or the pieces. And the interior offensive line is limiting the effectiveness of what should be the game's best rushing attack. I mean, it's the league's highest-scoring offense, and they're looking like they're going to miss the playoffs. I'll have to look when that's happened, but I doubt that's happened very much before.
That is the crazy part about it.
The offense is still even today, where you can't run the ball, Goff throws for 360 plus and 3 touchdowns without turning it over. The offensive line needs so much help. We've said it. We've said all we can say.
Yeah.
I told y'all my head was spinning, and that's reality. We're going to get out of here. I'll have a column, MLive.com/Lions tomorrow morning. And with the short week, we're right back into work tomorrow. So
that's the crazy. It's just, I'm looking at them. They got a bowl game coming up here.
Yeah, the fight.
So they're for your chips.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're changing the paint on all the logos, but
that's the noise you've been hearing.
Yeah, just again, as I sit here and I look at this empty arena, I just am just really speechless, taken aback at the fact that this is the last time we'll be in here this season
for 8 months.
I didn't plan on it.
I mean, I've told my family and my girlfriend, don't bank on me being there in January or February every year, and meant it. But looks like I might be there in January this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on, guys. I know it sucks, but yeah, it sucks. Thanks for listening. We are your MLive Dungeon of Doom podcast. Keep on keeping on.